Kenya remains an anchor for regional peace and security. Our contribution to peace and security is inspired by an understanding that conflicts are rarely isolated occurrences, confined within national borders, and their effects are often regional as well as global. We recognize that Kenya's fate is intricately intertwined with that of our neighbors. Unfortunately, as is well known to all of you, our region remains in a state of constant flux, with volatility triggered by security challenges as well as climate change-induced vulnerabilities. Therefore, the COVID-19 pandemic which struck early last year, has hit the Horn of Africa region that was already grappling with the largest locust invasion in recent years, as well as wide-scale flooding, which, in many instances, has occasioned massive displacement, loss of lives, livelihoods, and now our region is facing a looming threat of famine. Further, the region has been a theater of geopolitical competition, unfortunately from extra-regional interests. This, compounded with the threat posed by terrorism, remains real, despite the positive strides made in curbing the scourge of terrorism. All these factors compound an already dire human situation or humanitarian situation, and combined, they continue to test our resolve to achieve shared prosperity for our region. But there is also some good news. There are several positive developments also, which I invite all of you to note and to continue to support. In South Sudan, despite the challenges that are known to all of us, the peace process remains on course, and the progress made in tackling key contentious issues, we must say, is laudable, and in particular the recent steps towards completing the formation of the transitional government of national unity at the state and local government levels, including finally the appointment of the governor of the Upper Nile. However, the establishment of the Transitional National Legislative Assembly remains a critical imperative. Equally important is also the urgency to implement the transitional security arrangements. And here, we look forward to working with all partners to achieving the peace and stability of our neighbors in the South Sudan. In Sudan, over the last months, the democratic transition is on course, and the transitional government has implemented significant governance, legal, as well as structural reforms. The signing of the Juba Peace Agreement was a landmark achievement, and its implementation is on track. Fast-tracking the establishment of the Transitional Legislative Council is critical in delivering the necessary reforms and tackling the economic situation in the country. To this end, I continue with my appeal to the international community and all development partners to continue to support Sudan's endeavors to achieve their objectives and to bring about peace, stability, as well as prosperity in a very difficult economic climate. In Ethiopia, the government has indicated to us that their law enforcement operation is over and that the rehabilitation process in Tigray is underway. Kenya, as a brotherly country to Ethiopia, will continue to encourage efforts to, one, provide information on any excesses by either side that may have been committed, as well as endeavor to hasten the much-needed humanitarian assistance to that troubled part of Ethiopia. Kenya, in line with its long-standing position, continues to hope for greater and lasting reconciliation in Ethiopia country that is a critical partner to Kenya and indeed the region. As you all know, Kenya has for a long time invested heavily also in the process of restoring stability in Somalia. Our prime motivation has always been to see a stable Somalia, a peaceful neighbor with whom we share a long history and with whom the opportunities to grow and prosper together are boundless. A peaceful coexistence with Somalia is therefore key to us, despite the rhetoric. Enhancing a spirit of cooperation and solidarity for the development and benefit of our peoples in both countries, as well as for the prosperous and integrated region of the Horn, is critical to us, and we remain committed to working with Somalians, with the international community to achieve these objectives. Furthermore, the African Union mission in Somalia has been at the forefront of supporting Somalia's transition and stabilization efforts, and the mission could continue to play this pivotal role beyond 2021. Considering the prevailing security situation in Somalia, Kenya and other troop-contributing countries have called for the extension of the mandate of AMISOM. The ongoing drawdown of the mission has already exposed the potential risk of severely undermining the gains made, and we see al-Shabaab taking advantage to claim abandoned territory. AMISOM will require greater support, particularly adequate and predictable funding, including drawing funding from the UN-assessed contributions, as well as equipping it with the requisite force enablers and force multipliers. Kenya will continue, and I reiterate, to cooperate and collaborate with the international community to see a peaceful, stable Somalia, which is in much our interest as it is in theirs. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who have been in our country for a significant amount of time must have noted that Kenya is a country of farmers. It is also a country of techno-savvy entrepreneurs, and also has probably the most vibrant private sector in the region. We in Kenya believe firmly in creating the best and most enabling environment for promoting business and entrepreneurship in order to drive greater prosperity for our people. In this regard, Kenya recognizes the strength and promise of regional integration, and we remain fully committed to our obligations and responsibilities at the East African Community, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, as well as the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA. Kenya also believes in the promise of Africa. We are fully committed to building new frameworks and to develop innovative solutions that are African-inspired, African-led, and that speak to Africa's needs as well as our priorities. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area typifies the vision of a prosperous Africa at peace with herself and occupying her rightful place on the world stage. Indeed, as the rest of the world grapples with growing protectionism, Africa has chosen the path towards greater partnership, closer collaboration, and shared prosperity. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area will not only consolidate our efforts to realize the dream of a prosperous and integrated Africa, but also propel our economies, I believe, to a higher growth trajectory. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is also working with the African Union member states, as well as other economic and political formations in the world, to define how the world relates not only to Kenya, but to our continent, including in the context of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. For Kenya, key pillars of this realignment involves reinvigorated and dynamic engagements with the United States of America through the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, as well as our continued engagement with a prospective free trade agreement. And with the European Union also through the economic partnership agreements, and also with the United Kingdom through or after post-Brexit